Hey, this is the Antisocial Socialite back at it again. Shout out to all the wonderful new subscribers and returning friends. Welcome. If you are new to the channel, you have not yet subscribed. What are you waiting for, darling? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. So when I get to running this mouth, baby, you are in the loop. You see the title, you know what time it is. We are talking about the concept of husband benefits versus boyfriend benefits. Okay. Recently, April Mason did a post, and this is what I meant to mention in a live stream that I did a little while ago, a couple of live streams back. This idea of fixing your man a plate at Thanksgiving. When I was relaying the history between April Mason and the Manosphere, that was the bit that I kind of forgot, and I needed to add a little bit of context and understanding to the story, because everybody knows that April Mason recently went on the lead attorney's channel, and salute to Celine in the building. And everybody was wondering what happened, because there's so many people who are not familiar with the April Mason situation with her and her cousin, and why the Manosphere was calling her out on the fact that what she was saying, it sounded very good, but it wasn't quite right. And the point about the whole fix your man a plate at Thanksgiving, I feel like this was something that a lot of women don't understand is part of the courting process. Shout out to African Caribbean Diaspora Talks in the house. Great channel, please subscribe. Also Grogu, also known as Celine. She's got a great channel, a lot of short, punchy videos. So please check these guys out. Channels obviously by the same name. And it got me to thinking, okay, which is very bad English. Hey, so glad you went live. I can listen to this while I clean up. Shout out to Mr. Uganda in the building. Again, another great content creator. Patience of a saint. If you think Saint Kevin is a saint, I think Mr. Uganda can give him a run for his money. Grogu says, too many women play house with a boyfriend. Sex is only something a husband is entitled to. And this is something that I actually saw under a video. Celine was in the comment section. So I blame Celine a little bit for this video. Shout out to the Afropolitan podcast. That's my girl. Again, wow, we've got so many content creators. At the moment, we have nobody who is not a content creator in the mix at the moment. Shout out to everybody. CJ Carl's the high value nurse. I actually wanted to react to a portion of one of his videos. So basically, everybody here at the moment is a content creator. So please go and check their content out. Also, check out my community tab. You will find videos by these guys in the community tab. So please go over there, check it out. African Caribbean says, never play house, as my mom would say. People playing too much dolly house out here. Shout out to Dimitri in the building, #1 moderator in the house. He said, you're too kind. No, trust me, I couldn't do what you do. I couldn't do what you do. Okay. Where we at? Women just throw the pee around like it's nothing, and it's bastardized the gift of sex within marriage and makes it ugly. So true. My boys in the house, George Golden, lots of love and kisses. Okay, I don't know what this is, but it says star. I don't know why I'm starring, but it gives me the option to, so I'm going to do it. Okay, so I think I know what that is. It's something new, and I'm just playing with it. Okay, so this is not really to turn this into a Bible study per se, but we are going to look at the scripture, because I think one of the reasons why a lot of people today are so confused is because a lot of people have no standard and no guidelines when it comes to dating. One of the things that we saw with April Mason when she came on the lead attorney was basically what she said: if you want to make a lot of money out of Black women, give them fluff. And what we heard from April Mason during the lead attorney interview was a lot of articulate babble. It wasn't really concise. It wasn't coherent. When I look back on what she said, I realized why I personally was struggling to grasp what she was saying is because it's not actionable, it's not tangible. And so if something is it sounds good, it's interesting, it's captivating, it gets you on an emotional high, but it's not applicable to your everyday life. To an extent, you may have just indulged in some articulate babble. It sounds good, it tickles the ears, but it's not going to point you in a particular direction that you can actually put anything into practice. What we find with a lot of modern women is, in no other terms, they are confused. Okay, I just did a video. I know a lot of people have actually talked about this. I didn't even realize this video was circulating like this, of the woman who came out and said, I have nothing to offer to a man. I want to shout out once again Gemini on Instagram. So if you guys are not following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord, please do. Channel by the same name, the Antisocial Socialite, and things like that. Please jump over. You'll find the links in the About section as well. And shout out to Mr. O in the house, another great content creator. Please check out his channel by the same name. Hey, beloved. We have a godless society that now wants to disregard any structure the Bible gives. Okay, and so because people are definitely confused, they are confused about where they're going, they're confused about what they should be doing, they're confused about traditional gender roles, they don't understand what they need to bring to the table or what they should be asking from the table. As a result, these guys they're floating in limbo. When you hear a woman say, I bring my education or my work or my job or whatever, or my money to the table, this doesn't mean she's a bad person or that she thinks she's a boss bee or that, she's trying to dominate. That could be the case. But in a lot of instances, the problem is these women have been told by other women that they need to bring to the same thing to the table, the same thing a man would bring, or that men are looking in you for the things that you look for in them and vice versa, or that men and women are essentially the same. And so if you appreciate a man who is funny, he wants you to be funny. If you appreciate a man who makes money, then you have to make money and things like this. So there's a lot of confusion out here. And when I saw this post about fixing your man a plate, the thing that came to my mind was, and I tried to find it, I don't know where April Mason uploaded it. I can't open it on Facebook if that's where she posted it. I don't see it in her community tab or in her Instagram. Maybe she took it down because a lot of guys were using it and championing the fact that she made this post about how much pushback she received by telling her the people that she basically works with that you need to fix your man a plate. It's Thanksgiving, okay? And I said to myself, these ladies have missed an opportunity. These ladies have missed a trick, because I don't know how long this is going to go, but because this is pretty much all I really wanted to say. Mr. Uganda said, my computer is running a bit slow. The lead attorney lets her speak and expose her mindset. Yes, he basically gave her enough rope to hang herself with, and she did multiple times over. And unfortunately, this is what happens when you talk to men, but you don't listen to men. And she didn't realize when she came on the lead attorney's channel that you are not dealing with an audience that is predominantly female. You're talking to a man, to an audience that's full of men. So all of that articulate, I'm gonna, buff it up. Sometimes you've only got a little bit of mincemeat or something. You're trying to make something and there isn't much meat in there. You chuck some lentils. Shout out to CJ Carls. Maybe you might have to chuck a little bit of baked bean in that corned beef. You got to bulk it up a little bit, okay? We don't want the fluff. We don't want the fandangles. We want the raw, uncut truth, straight and direct. So April Mason is coming through with all of this. I got the stripper pole in my bedroom, and I bring out the little boy in you, and all of this. this extra stuff that really didn't need to be there. Is kind of like, I need my steak, I need my chips, and the little bit of fluff that you put to decorate the plate, you can just leave that off. And so unfortunately, April is used to talking to men, but not really listening to them. So she thought she was talking to a group of women who were going to eat everything that she was providing. And unfortunately, once again, she got ripped a new one. And that's why I wasn't even going to talk about this. But like I said, what hit me was these women have missed a trick. Okay, at the end of the day, unfortunately, because of the over-sexualization of the current climate, thanks to the sexual revolution and women's liberation and etc., a lot of women are so much more comfortable giving you access to their body than their purse or even a plate of food. And in the video that I just talked about, the lady saying, I don't think I bring anything to the table, she actually mentioned how resentful she would feel if she was constantly providing food for a guy who would come and sit down at her table and eat, and he wasn't actually buying any of the food. Now, I'm not going to lie and say I want a parasite who comes over just for food either. But at the end of the day, it would be better if he actually ate your food than maybe knocked you up with another baby or something. Okay, that sounds harsh, but this woman probably feels more comfortable being sexually intimate with a guy than just cooking him a plate of food. And this seems strange, but in the current backwards climate that we are in, you'll be surprised how many women would rather have sex with a guy than actually just cater to him in a proper, healthy way. Now, the problem with this situation is this. If you are living with a person like husband and wife, let me just cut to the crux of the matter, okay? If you're living with somebody like husband and wife, there really is no incentive to buy the cow once you're getting all this milk, cream, cheese, butter for free. And so a lot of women think that I'm like a guy, I can do like a man, I can sleep around like a man, I can just click my fingers and dominate a situation, and it doesn't work like that. Women want the whole cake. They want the whole pie, okay? They're not satisfied until they get the change of the name, the ring on the finger, and the walk up the aisle. A man, however, he can get a piece of that cake and still be satisfied. Men and women are not equal, and they are not the same. And so women have to accept this, okay? There is no incentive for the man to buy the whole pie once he knows how the pie tastes. This is why when you go into shops, apart from the fact that it's very hard to sell a product that's half used, they say, please do not spray this air freshener. Please do not open these boxes of perfume. Please do not spray this air wick or whatever it is, because not only have you depleted the amount in the damn bottle, once you smell it, you're not going to buy it, okay? The reason why they don't want you to smell it is because some of you wouldn't buy it if you knew what it smelled like. Just because the packaging is fancy and attractive doesn't mean what's inside is good, okay? So they're like, do not smell it, just buy it, please. And so, unfortunately, once the man knows what he's getting, there is no real reason for him to make that legally binding transfer. A lot of women do not seem to understand that marriage is not the wedding day. Men do not lie on their bed with their diaries, except if you're Boyce Watkins. Men do not lie on their bed with their diaries talking about their wedding day and how they look forward to waiting at the end of the aisle in their tuxedo. Some do, probably most don't. When they are looking forward to getting married, they're talking about the bit after the wedding day, okay? And so they understand, they're talking about I see people laughing in the chat. They're talking about building a legacy, building well, starting a business, starting some type of home-based business, okay? They are talking about all of those kind of things, okay? They're not talking about, oh my God, I can't wait to coordinate the groomsmen with my outfit and, my tie and pocket square matches their suit and, oh my God, I can't wait to eat some of that cake or whatever it is. No, these men are thinking about the day after the wedding. women dream about the days leading up to the wedding. Shout out to Shay Sade. She recently did a video about something I personally have never really heard of, but I can believe is a reality. It's like post-wedding depression. A lot of women have spent so long fantasizing about this one day. When it actually comes and goes, they almost feel lost because they have nothing to focus on. And so part of this live stream is to kind of say, beyond the day, this is what you should be looking forward to. And I'm not going to say to people, I mean, I'm strange, I'm different. There's some people who know me here, they know I'm a little bit different, okay? So I'm just like, if you really have to get married and it's an issue, just, go to Vegas. I think I would probably dress up like Harley Quinn and, I make the guy dress up like Joker. We go and have some fun. These will be interesting pictures for the kids and grandkids. What's that picture? That's our wedding day. And you just get it out of the way so you can go on with the rest of your life. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a big wedding, but I do understand that weddings are getting super expensive. And is it really worth it? Is it, that money that you could take blowing it on a huge, expensive, extravagant wedding, maybe here or even taking it abroad, obviously with the lockdown, that's really difficult. Is it worth it? Does the big wedding symbolize a good marriage? Not necessarily. It's up to you guys. You guys have to decide. For those of you who are looking to marry, that's something you need to talk about. I'm not going to say you're a bad person for wanting a big wedding, but everybody has to understand that the marriage begins, the race begins after the wedding day. You haven't finished the race once you say I do. No, this is where the race really starts, because it's now every single day you are working on this marriage with this person who you said I'm going to fully commit to. And so what women unfortunately don't understand, especially these people who say it's just a piece of paper. Well, if it's just a piece of paper, just go and get one. Well, I don't need to get one to declare my love. No, that's a cop-out. You understand that if I die, everything I have goes to this person. I have to do this to the exclusion of all others. I gotta pay some money, just like I got to pay money to get into this thing. I gotta pay some money to get out of this thing. So everybody should be intellectually honest enough to say, this is not just a piece of paper. This is a commitment. This is a commitment between you, your spouse, God, and the state. Okay, and when you want to get out, you got to tell God and you got to ask the state. And so a lot of people, they are not going into this thing with the right frame of mind. They're not looking at the person that they're dealing with as a long-term mate that they're supposed to be building something with. And so, unfortunately, because a lot of women, they're looking at this thing of, I just want to get up the aisle. I just want the big dress with the big cake. They're like, why don't these men marry us? And okay, the marry you is not the day that you get married. Okay, the marriage is the bit that comes after the next 5, 10, 20, 40, 50 years. And so when these women say, why won't these men marry us? The question is, did you ask him, does he want to be married? And does he want to be married to you? Because if the answer to those questions is no, then you've already kind of tripped at the start line. You've got into something that this person is not in the same book, let alone the same page with you on. And so that's partly why we are having a little bit of a discussion today. And I see the chat moving quite fast. I really appreciate everybody who came through. Let me skim back up. It says here, George says, happy Saturday. African Caribbean says, oh, sorry, my computer's running a bit slow. Never cooked for a boyfriend at all, not even sharing the leftovers. Mean. God damn, not even the scraps. She's like, I'd rather give them to the dog. Shout out to Afropolitan Podcast in the chat. We have some moderators in the house. If you could please click on the channels and start putting the links for these channels in the chat so people can easily find them and they can just go and subscribe while they're here. They can also go and subscribe to these channels. George says too many people getting spouse benefits. Definitely men and women alike are getting way too much. Mr. Uganda says, shout out to George in the building. I'm going to stop reading Celine's comments because she's going to steal all my thunder, God damn it. We have a godless society that wants to disregard anything the Bible says. I read that one already. Shout out to Mr. O again in the building. Where are we? The lead attorney speak, let her speak to expose herself. Okay, we got here as far already. So, African Caribbean says, can modern women cook? Listen, if you can't cook, it's fine. Can you recipe though? Can you recipe though? They've got this thing called, I can't even remember what it's called, but it basically drops off a box. Everything's measured. All the ingredients are in the box. You literally just take the stuff out of the box, follow the step by step, and you should have something that's edible. So it's getting to the point where unless you have the money to get a chef in, you are pretty close. I think it's not Diet Chef. I think that's a diet product. But okay, it's getting really close that even if you cannot cook, there is YouTube. You know, shout out to Kevin Samuels. I don't need a cookbook. If your food, even the dog won't eat it, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Step away from the stove until you go and purchase a cookbook. There's no shame in that game. And if you have to, you know, it depends on what your man likes as well. Some men don't really care about home cooked meals. He just wants a meal. When he's hungry, he wants something to eat. And I understand some places it's just cheaper to go out to eat. If that's what floats your boat, that's something you and your man need to iron out, okay? But whatever it is, you have to be in agreement. You know, I was on a live stream recently and I heard somebody saying like, oh, we can't really talk about what it is that people want because everybody wants something different. And, you know, this is one of those intellectual Lindy hops that people do. People try to pretend like they're obtuse and don't understand what you're saying. Of course, everybody is an individual, but what we need to understand is the basic principles. And it started off with a conversation about what men want in terms of respect. In general, men interpret love as respect. If you disrespect him, he feels it more than if you say, I don't like you, or you're ugly, or something like that. You know, it maybe even your sex game is weak. You know, he might feel some type of way about that. But if he knows he's not strong in that area, he's not really going to feel some type of way. It's like, yeah, fair. But if you say, I don't respect you, like if you turn around and said to a man, you know, I love you, but I don't respect you. It's the same as saying to a woman, I respect you, but I don't really love you. They take it on a deeper personal level. Now, obviously, every man is different, but that's generally true across the board. We have a lot of brothers in the chat. So, you know, you can put an amen in the chat if you know that you would rather be told by a woman, I respect you or I love you. Because, you know, it just is what it is, okay? So when it comes on to your man wanting respect, how that is played out is different from man to man, but it's generally going to be about the same thing. He doesn't want you hitting him. He doesn't want you calling him out of his name. And then there's going to be different things. Some men are not going to want you to talk about your personal business with anybody. Some understand like you need a little friend or a confidant or your family member. You know, most of them probably don't want you taking their business to social media. It's all part of respect. How you act in public. I remember, you know, I was in a relationship, long-term relationship with this guy one time, and he said to me, if we ever went to a function, you got there before me, and you were inappropriately dressed, like your whole chest was out or something, I would turn around and leave. So he understood me going out dressed a certain way, which I don't do anyway. But he was like, if that ever happened, I just need you to know you're staying there by yourself. Okay, because I take that as a form of disrespect. So some men don't mind. I personally would say to a lady, you know, even if your man doesn't mind if you dress in quote unquote provocative attire, you have to be mindful what kind of situation you're putting yourself and your man into. You know, guys are going to look, they're going to try to holler when his back is turned or you go to the toilet. Somebody might try to swoop in. It can cause an argument. And why do you need to parade yourself for other men to see if you've got a man that you like and respect? So I can't tell people how to dress, but I'm kind of telling you how to dress. Okay, just look. That's just me. Okay, stop. So as a result, okay, he told me, when you do certain things, I'm going to interpret it as disrespect. And so what that looks like from partner to partner is going to be different. But the overall principle, the underlying principle is men need to know you respect them. It does something to them when they know you don't respect them as their woman. Okay, so once we understand the underlying principle, now we can tailor it to our partner, not the other way around, where, you know, some partners like beef, some people don't eat pork, some people don't eat chicken. So as a result, because people eat all kinds of different things, we don't know what to do now. It's on a case by case basis. Well, yes, that's true. It is on a case by case basis. But what's the underlying principle? Your man gets hungry. When he's hungry, give him food. Okay, that's the principle. Okay, now if he's a vegetarian, a vegan, or he likes meat with every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's for you and your man to work out. But you have to, as a woman, understand the underlying principle, which is when your man is hungry, give him food. Otherwise, that chick up the street who's got the pot on the stove with the window wide open is going to be feeding your man every night. Now, am I making an excuse or a justification for men cheating because they're not getting what they want at home? No. But let's just be real. Like I said, this is going to be a Bible study, but don't worry, I'm not going to thump you too much, just a little bit. Okay, this is not what I was going to bring this in, but I'll bring it in now. Okay. God, I hope everyone's having a good Saturday. I'm going to get to the chat in a minute. Okay, so this is a scripture. It's in 1 Corinthians 7. 1 Corinthians 7 is all about marriage, okay? And let's see. Let's see on the screen. I remember the video when she said that. I'm not sure. I think that was April Mason we're talking about, okay? So as the screen says, ladies, stressing on the word husband. Your husband needs two things: hot, sex, and food. Okay, so it says here, 1 Corinthians 7 verse 5, do not deprive each other except perhaps by mutual consent for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer, and then come together so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Is the scripture saying that it's okay to cheat? No. But what the scripture is telling you is, let's all just be real. Can we just be honest? When we have a period where you're using sex as a weapon against your partner, you're trying to deprive them of affection, you're trying to deprive them of food, you want to punish them with things like this, Satan can come in and cause strife in that relationship. You're not cooking for your husband. You know, you're telling him go make his own food or fix his own plate all the time. And then there's some chick up the street who's lonely and she sees your man hungry every day. And before you know it, she's tempting him with food. This is talking specifically about sex, but it could be anything. Because when you get married, what you are saying is, to the exclusion of all others, I'm going to satisfy your needs. So if you have a sexual need, it's my obligation to satisfy your sexual need. If you are hungry, I have a duty to make sure you're sustained. If you have an emotional need, I want to be your confidant. I want to be your friend. I'll be your companion. If we have a house, I'm going to turn it into a home. If you have a problem, I'm going to work with you to solve it. If you're going in a direction, you have a dream and a vision, I'm your number one cheerleader. And anywhere where you are depriving your spouse of the things that they need, there is an opportunity for them to be tempted. And this is specifically for husbands and wives. So we're now getting kind of into the meat and bones of the video, where we're talking about understanding your role. Your role as a spouse is a bit different from that of a girlfriend, boyfriend, or a courting partner. Okay, so I did videos some time ago called I can't even remember what it's called, but it's basically like dating stages in the Black community. And we have to clearly separate what we are. Are we in a situationship hookup? is this, which obviously I'm not promoting? Are we girlfriend and boyfriend, which is dating? Are we courting, which is tending towards marriage? Or are we married? Okay, the problem is there is such a blurring of the lines that people are becoming confused, and that's why they are disgruntled, because they're giving benefits to people who do not deserve it. Okay, so shout out to Uncle Stu in the building. I hope the moderators are going to these channels, finding these the content creators and putting their links in the chat so people can easily find the content. Shout out to Dimitri. What he said, they can cook sausage and beans over their stove. Excuse me, some men like a sausage and bean. So what's the problem? Shout out to Flying Monkey Inc. in the building. Good evening, sir. It is 5:10 here in the UK. Afropolitan, she's rolling with laughter. Good to see. The speech fillers and fluff didn't go over very well. I felt secondhand embarrassment for her. Exactly. You know, she forgot she was talking to men and not women, and that, you know, we have long memories. And so she couldn't just leave it, you know, a bit of time to cool off and then come back. Okay, no, they will drag up those receipts and files. Can't even cook but want a ring and ting. You know what I mean? And if you can't cook, there's no shame in that game. But, you know, get a recipe book. God, you better can cook. Think you're there for your pretty look. Okay, you better get a recipe book and go in the kitchen and see what your hand them can do. Are you joking? She was saying that. Yeah, she was. The difference is that one audience demands pandering and the other demands substance. Exactly. And April Mason, unfortunately, did not read the room, and she thought that she could pander her way through and tap dance. And they were like, no, dear, walk straight. The society is extremely backwards. With women outnumbering men by so much, do you feel men would just go on to the next one? Do you think women give in out of fear? You see, the thing about it is this. 99.999, I need to make that into a banner. That's the number everybody has to keep in their mind. 99.999 recurring. Keep the 9 going till infinity. It's coming close to 7 billion people on this planet, I think. Or maybe it's tending towards 8. The vast majority of people on this planet, we are not compatible with. And so I understand that people have maybe a scarcity or a lack mindset, that they don't believe they can do better. But you have to believe you can do better. If this person is not the right fit for you, and I'm not talking about frivolous things like, you know, here in the UK, maybe you're an Arsenal supporter and your man likes Man U. Something that really has no impact, unless you're kind of like diehard, you know, soccer fans or something. Unless, and that's why I'm saying, go to that video, check it out. It's about breaking it down. What are your non-negotiables? What are your, I would really like this to be here, but if it's not, I can live, and the stuff that's really not important. You have to sit down and know yourself. The reason why a lot of people are tolerating things they shouldn't is because they're not willing to look at themselves and be willing to let go of something that is almost right. We understand what is not right, but some of the hardest relationships to get rid of are the ones that are almost right. And you convince yourself that the thing that is an issue, you could deal with it, you could learn to love it. And for some of those things, you can. But for some of those things, they are true deal breakers. And it's unfortunate, but you have to move on. Okay, so you don't have to move on. Maybe you can go for relationship counseling, see if you can work these things out, smooth them out. I'm not going to say twist and turn a person into something that they don't have the capacity to be, because they will end up resenting you for it. Another thing is, we want to keep part of our identity, but we also want to feel like we're accepted for who we are. And a partner can sometimes stifle that. So we have to be mindful. People need space to continue doing the things that they were doing before they met us, because that's part of who they were that attracted us to them. If our partner likes to go fishing or he likes to hang out with the boys, I know there's a lot of guys in here, but we're talking especially to single women, because I think women don't seem to understand this as much. You know, your man is not your girlfriend. He's not going to do the things with you all the time like a girlfriend will do. So he needs space. If he is not angry with you, you haven't said anything, you haven't done anything, he's not cheating, he just needs to go into his cave and recharge his battery in his own time, in his own space. And so, these are some of the fundamental principles I think women don't understand about men. So they just assume, oh, he must be angry with me, I must have done something, maybe he's talking to another woman. No, he just needs to recharge his battery. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the concept of the man cave, because if you guys are married and you're sharing a home together, the home should be reflective of both your personalities. It can't be everywhere flowery drapes and cushions and fluffy throw pillows and all kinds of, girly tat everywhere. And like, you wouldn't even know a man lives here. That's not fair to him, unless he's like, do whatever, I don't really care. Or you have the same taste and he likes a fluffy cushion too. But I do agree to an extent that men need a space in the house, maybe just for them, or periods of time where they go off and do their own thing, because that's how they recharge their batteries. Women recharge their batteries spending time with each other, talking, gossiping, and having girly time. And men recharge their batteries through hanging out with their boys, or maybe going into the garage or going up into the attic or the basement man cave. And again, that's a fundamental principle that women need to understand. And so women do give in out of fear, but the way to avoid that is to work on yourself, to be honest with yourself, and to understand. And this is where April Mason was trying the whole dope chick thing, and the way she worded it, it wasn't ideal. Okay, it wasn't ideal. What she should have focused on was becoming the best version of yourself internally. Am I becoming nurturing? Am I becoming the kind of woman that is adding value to a man's life? Okay. Once again, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. This is one of the first videos that I did, again, with some visuals. Is mystical black femininity keeping black women single? All this divine femininity and dark femininity, again, how do you grasp that? When I hear that, it almost sounds like trying to catch the wind. I can feel it, I can see it moving, but I can't really grasp it. Why is that? Because it's not actionable. It's not something that's tangible. So let me just put on my teacher hat and let's have a quick look at this. So attributes of being a feminine woman: nurturing, sensitive, sweet, supportive, gentle, warm, passive, cooperative, expressiveness, modesty, humility, empathy, affection, tenderness, and being emotional, kind, helpful, devoted, and understanding are cited as stereotypical feminine traits. So now we understand what being a feminine woman is. We can give ourselves a mark out of 10 when it comes to each of these traits. So we have a clear understanding how we rank as women. Are we highly sensitive? Are we caring? Are we nurturing? What is nurturing? Taking care of something so it grows. I'm a bit negligent, I'm not going to lie. So I know there's ways I can work on being nurturing. Sensitivity. Am I sensitive to people's feelings? Am I sensitive to the situation? Am I sensitive when I'm saying fluff, when I need to be direct? April. Okay. Am I supportive? Am I cooperative? Am I agreeable? Do I bring peace? Am I empathetic? Yada, yada, yada. You get the point. And so once we have tangible, actionable, a criteria that we can work with, then we can start moving forward. And the fear of the unknown is real. And I think a lot of women fear being in committed relationships because they don't know how. They're only used to, the love and hip hop chaos, or what they saw their parents doing, or whatever, but in terms of how to strategically move forward with a clear goal, a lot of women, in my opinion, have never been raised to know what that is. And a lot of men haven't been asked to demand certain things. So this is a learning curve for everybody. Shout out to Angel Martin in the building. She said the title alone so based. Stop giving those husband benefits to boyfriends. Boo. Everybody was laughing at the most crucial lesson to teach any young girl right here. So we're going to try, and I'm not a scholar, I'm not an expert, but this was what was on my heart, and I wanted you guys to come through and help me do this. They want the wedding and not the marriage. Shout out to Flames 2.0 in the building. He says, facts, the actual ceremony is so lame. I care more about the legacy that I will build after the wedding day. Ladies, you have a gentleman in the building. He is telling you what he thinks. Shout out to Juju. You came so close last time, Juju. Next competition, make sure you put your name in there, girl. What's your take on some black women saying that cis, heterosexual, aka strictly straight black women being trash and being good for one thing? Well, that's a masculine energy woman. That's a masculine energy woman. That's a woman who doesn't understand the value of... Okay, I wonder if Dimitri's still in the building, because he put black women twice. Are you saying that black women are saying other black women are good for one thing? Men are saying women are only good for one thing? Or women are saying only men are good for one thing? If women say women are only good for one thing, then maybe that's low self-esteem and low self-worth, because it's not strictly true. Men saying that women are only good for one thing, it's not true. And the issue here is this: a lot of people are getting into relationships with people they shouldn't have been in relationship with, and they have a lot of emotional wounds. And because maybe they're so guarded, they rather just say, I only want to dip my toe in the relationship. I don't mind having a little bit of sex with you, but emotional investment, oh no, I can't do that. And so people try to put up these guards by saying the only thing this person I'm going to allow you to do is sleep with me, because I can sleep with you without emotional attachment. And at the end of the day, I'm getting pleasure. But other than that, I don't want to be getting involved emotionally and committed. No, thank you. That's a bit too much for me. So for some people, it could be that. Some people, they've got involved in certain situations. They've really seen the dark side of humanity. And so, yeah, for real, they look at people with a very jaded lens. And that's unfortunate. But I say somebody who says a person who's only good for one thing, and I'm assuming that's sex, then that's a person who is speaking from at least some point of hurt. And that's not me demonizing anybody, or like, you're a little boy, who hurt you? Oh, your mama hurt you, or something like that. It's not me mocking. But there is something there that has happened with a person, a man or a woman, and they've built up this barrier. And it's like, the only thing I really want is some physical intimacy that I can feel special for 5 minutes or however long it lasts, and then I just need to get you out. So I think that there's a problem in there. Celine says, I don't like to be the center of attention, so I would rather have a very small wedding or go to the courthouse and let it be and build a life. And again, I have no issue with people who want big weddings. I would love a big wedding and, shower everybody with gifts. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm definitely backwards. It's like when it's my birthday, I'm the one doing parties and giving out people gifts. It's just like, I just want you to come, have a good time. I feel good with that. But it's just about understanding. The wedding day is the start line. The gun goes off when you say I do, and now you've got to run the race and finish it. It's not it's not the, oh, now I'm married, I can get fat. That was a meme I saw in the white manosphere somewhere. It's like, oh, now I've got the ring, I can finally let myself go. It's like, no, now you've got to work even harder, because you've got this person you've got to impress for like the next 40 years. Okay, so you have a call-in show. I was going to do a call-in show. I was meant to ramble for like 5 minutes, and it's already getting close to 1 hour. Let me drop the link. I will drop the link for just a very short period of time, because let me paste it in the chat so you guys can come up and we can have a quick To be honest, a big wedding is a waste of cash. It really is. Shout out to the Duke. We do have at least one white woman in the building. The white women are here, Duke. They are here. Where the white women's at, they are here. Okay. Shout out to Celine in the building. Let me get through some of these comments. Juju says, use that money for a house. The Joker and Harley. What? No Starfleet dress uniform? I'll have to check that out. Depends. But I identify more with Harley Quinn. Okay. So the Duke says, hi. A fun wedding, fun anyways, than a wedding to impress everyone else. Exactly. It's going to be an event to remember. Angel Martin says, see, if he puts your name on the deed without being married, but you'll give it up before he marries you. I'm not even a gold digger, but I see the difference. Exactly. Like, why are you intertwining your life with somebody who you're not committed to like this? It doesn't make any sense. In today's modern era, I could understand why a man would not want to get married. And I totally understand. I am not against men who say they don't want to marry. I understand the laws are outdated. They need to be changed. A lot of things about the law is not fair. It often is against the man's favor. But at the same time, there are some men who do want to get married, and that's what I believe is best for society. But you have to go about it the right way. There's no point trying to put the cart before the horse because, for example, cohabiting does not necessarily increase the chance of divorce. But what happens in a lot of situations is people get comfortable living a cohabiting life. They're sleeping together, probably. They're sharing bills. They like how much free money they have in their cash because they're going halves on the bills, and they kind of slide into marriage. It's like that lethargic, so lackluster line out of that song by Jagged Edge. You know, meet me at the altar in your white dress. We're not getting any younger, so we might as well do it. It's like if that was the least appealing proposal I've ever heard in my life, I literally wanted to snap the CD. Yes, I'm old enough to have CDs, goddammit. I was like, what? If any dude ever proposed to me with, well, you're not getting any younger, so what's your problem? Just say that's a person that's going to come up missing. Okay, that's not how you propose. God damn it. The ceremony isn't necessary for men. I would get annoyed just looking at the money flying out of the window. £300 for a cake. I think the F not. See, the brothers are letting you know, like they don't lie on their bed except for boys with a diary dreaming about that wedding day. Okay, it's not my fault. Where are we? Everybody's saying hi to each other in the chat. A check is also just a piece of paper. However, depending on the amount, people value it. It is very true. And over here, we don't even have checks anymore. Okay, that's how bad it is. I like the Joker and Quinn idea, though. See, that's why I like Juju. We're on the same page. You know, she's thinking, yeah. Oh my gosh. They want the fairy tale wedding, but they don't want the hard work that comes with it afterwards. Only deal with marriage-minded men. You can't change his mind. You have no kids, then leave. Okay, true. Okay, go and watch the video. It says, you know, dating standards. There was another video I did. It's called like sex education for adults. And people need to be clear what they want, what they're about. Oh my goodness, I see the back chat getting super full. So I'm going to let people just start talking. I'm going to run through some of these comments. So have at it, guys. I think Grogu came up first, so I'll let her speak first. Go for it, girl.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. How are you, everybody?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Oh, good. You know, I think, well, I know society has really flipped it upside down where, you know, you're almost told that it's expected to have sex before you're married, and you're almost a psychopath if if you don't. Like, oh my God, that would be a disaster. You know, how would you know if you're compatible? But I always knew that God created marriage. You know, the ideal is for two virgins to come together and then become one flesh. You know, and of course you grow in that sexual relationship in a marriage. You don't have to know everything before you're married, sexually. I think, the Bible compares marriage as a picture of Christ and the church. And, it talks about how the mystery of the cross, and you can kind of go into that, how it's a mystery of sex. I think too many people lose their innocence about what sex is.
The
The
unveiling,
purpose.
the
I'm
tearing of the
sorry?
shroud, the unveiling or the tearing of the shroud.
Right. And, like, you first, it's kind of, it goes back to the spiritual part. Hi, Angel, by the way.
We can finally talk. YouTube took it upon itself to just like shadow block
I
us.
know.
It's so weird, and I can't unblock her.
I know you didn't block me, so
It says you're not blocked, but
it's
functionally you
crazy.
are blocked. It's so weird. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I'm gonna mute and let you finish though, because.
But it's like, first of all, you get saved, you trust in Christ alone, and then you fellowship. You don't put the cart before the horse, and it kind of goes like that. When you date, you don't have sex before you're married. And we live in a society today that sadly, it's like, if you don't want to have sex before you're married, you're almost turned down.
You're crazy. They think,
right.
And that's why we all do it, is because it's literally like taught that it's abnormal to wait till marriage. There's something wrong with you. That's dangerous and insane. Right. And it's totally normal to rack up tons of fornication partners prior to marriage.
Whoredoms is what it's called.
Yep, exactly.
I'm gonna go.
I almost want to be a school counselor to scare the kids to death to not fornicate. Because I remember when I became a believer really young, and I kind of just knew what God said about it, and I was scared to death to commit fornication.
I hear that.
To this day, I never did. I wasn't perfect,
but good.
I never committed fornication.
That's cool. I'm going to go to Wise Nubian, and then I think CJ came up on the panel next.
I'm sorry, I just
so hold your thought, Celine. Hold your thought. Can everybody hear? Wise Nubian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Greetings to you, Heaven High. So you want to hear my opinion? You want to hear my opinion? Okay, I'll give you a little.
I do.
Number one, I need everybody to recognize that the man is not under the light shade like the woman is. It's not about him being a virgin, because he's the provider. The woman brings nothing but her body to the table, and she makes babies with that man, and then he take on the responsibility of taking care of that baby, taking care of that woman, taking care of all the finance, the bills. Even if he was in the wilderness, he would build a house, he would hunt, he would do everything. So we have to stop this 50-50 nonsense, because it doesn't really apply in that way. A woman brings what she wants to the table. A man has to bring security, protection, or he's not going to get the woman. These are the facts that I live by. What's your opinion?
True. No, that's
well,
a good point.
I'm a Christian, and I just feel like biblically speaking, and I know not everybody looks at it like biblical. I'm a biblical literalist, so I'm basically crazy to most people. But God is real clear about the idea of, what we would say are unrealistic expectations, but one man, one woman, nobody else. You get married and that's it. And marriage wasn't even considered like a fun thing to do. It was almost like a duty, and it wasn't even so much about love. It was like what you do, and anything outside of marriage, even looking at another woman, was adultery, which is a sin. Now, that's why I look at it that way. But if I were not a Christian, I would agree with him from a logical standpoint. So I don't fault him for having that outlook.
Well, I'm a scholar, and
that's
the
good.
belief
Angel, I'm
system.
going to cut you there. Sorry, go on.
Now I'm saying that I'm a
Go on,
scholar
Wise.
in the
Are
script.
you finished?
I'm a no, not yet. I was saying I'm a scholar in the scriptures, and technically there is no settings that talks about what marriage is. They don't give you details of how to get married. This philosophy came from a lot of people who just trying to make money off of the blind faith syndrome. You don't have a setup
Mm,
where you go and you get married and you do this and that. It does not say that in the New Testaments or the Old Testaments about that specific. Marriage is when you, excuse me, leave your mother and father and go to your husband. That's marriage. When you bond with
mm,
another person, that's all it is. That's what marriage is. And a marriage also promotes polygyny. And a lot of people don't want to agree or hear that, but that's facts as well. That's part of marriage because women are dependent, not they codependent. They're not, and most women who are not codependent don't need a man. They will not marry at all. They be rich and they will deal with their life without a man because they have everything they need. These are the facts that I'm talking about. So when we talk about marriage, you need to really look at what marriage really is. Okay, that's my time. Go ahead.
cool. My thing about the whole polygyny is, I'm kind of jury's out about whether polygyny is biblical. I understand God did not ordain it and He didn't forbid it. But what I will say is this: if you were to do polygyny it should be everybody's in the same house. All your wives and kids should be under one roof. But that's a different one. Shout out to teacher of Long Su Fighting Arts. I think this is the first time I see you in the chat, man. You won too. Little Big Nate, the big dog in the house, the one of the co-founders and coordinators of the Management Meetup. I'm so happy for you, brothers. Congratulations on it being a success. So thank you so much for all your hard work with Theo Walsh and everybody over there. I'm going to go straight to CJ. I know you've been waiting a long time.
What's up, Lady A? What's up to the panel?
Hey.
I ain't been waiting a long time. I've been enjoying the conversation. So when it comes to this topic, though, I'm not against marriage, in the modern era, but I am about being aware and having the wherewithal to assess the environment that we are currently in. Now, I respect the Bible and the Christianity point of view, but to be honest, a lot of people, especially women, only use the Bible when it's convenient to their point. I've hosted
Mm-hmm.
several panels with women who said they could not be in a relationship with a man who had bad sex. So, with that being said, this is why I'm such an advocate for a man not even considering a serious relationship until he crosses the age of 30. Like, because if a man can fully focus on his full development, and I know that most men don't hit their financial peak until their 40s, early 40s, mid 40s, but I feel like after 30, if a man is truly focused on his purpose, staying in the gym, staying healthy, maintaining some sort of stable income, that he can weed out and pick wisely. I would think he would have the opportunity to pick wisely a mate that would be that would that would complement him. But in this modern era, I think that's going to be a very difficult task. I've heard women, young women, 16 years old, say they can't have a man making less than $100,000 at 16 years old. So my question is, I could
Mm-mm.
understand if a man growing up in this modern era said, "Forget that." So that's what I had. That was my comment.
Mm. I hear you. I hear you. I understand it's tough. It's definitely tough for modern men out here because, quiet as it's kept, men are typically more traditional. Okay, they're simple creatures, and
Yeah.
if there's no real return on the investment, it's like, again, this is a lack of understanding that men see things differently, and for us to work with men, we have to understand their point of view. I'm going to go to Dimitri, then I'm going to let Angel get in and say I think she had something else she wanted to add.
Hello?
Dimitri, are you there?
You can hear
Hey,
me?
we
Hello?
can.
Okay, cool. So what my question was because it was a typo it was the black women saying that cishet men are only good for D and money. But my initial thoughts when seeing that are you are unusual if you make statements like that. And so if we have any people who don't think like us in the chat who choose to remain silent, I want to say to you, it's important to make sure that content creators that you listen to are logically sound. Because if they are not logically sound and you cannot apply what they say to your real life, then they're pretty much living in delusion, which is not a real reality, which is not your reality. So that was really my question.
It's true. It has to be tangible. Yeah, and I think if that's what you were saying, that these guys, they're only good for one thing, well, that means this person is not ready to kind of open up, to take the back seat. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're a woman that sees a man only as valuable for money and sex, then eventually that's all you're going to attract. Men who will use you for sex. They might give you some money, but they're not really going to commit to you. And then it's like, then after a while, you're like, why are the men I attract only giving me the bare basics? Because let's be real, sex is something that's pleasurable to both people involved. So it's not like you're really giving the person something when you have sexual intercourse with them, because you're mutually benefiting from the act. So really and truly, the person giving you money, especially if it's not money they're going to miss, they haven't lost anything either, but you're going to feel cheapened as a woman. And it's just like, I need something deeper. But you're approaching it from the standpoint, I'm looking at it first from the superficial and not the deep. So I'm not saying that the superficial stuff, like whether the person can sexually satisfy you, is not important. But again, that's why I did a video called Should Adults Take Sex Education? Because once you get married, you're saying, I am going to satisfy your sexual needs. And it's not fair if the person is not being satisfied. Okay, sexless marriage is a real thing and it's a problem. George, I can't find your channel to share. Sorry. So you guys, so Angel, if you want to go next, and then
yeah, I'll just,
we're going to
just
go
like
into the
guys.
criteria.
Thank you, Lady A. Yeah, I'll just say this last bit, and I'll probably drop off. I'm driving, but so just so the guys who aren't familiar with me know, I'm married. I have 5 children. I stay at home with them. I homeschool them. My husband is the love of my life. So and we have an incredible relationship. So I do a lot of what I'm saying is just informed by my experience. I never even wanted to be married. I didn't ever desire that in my idea was like, oh, I just want to find my ideal boy, to be boyfriend and girlfriend forever. Totally immature. I was an atheist most of my life. Now, nothing about the Bible was convenient for my ego, but like, especially when it comes to marriage, I can say honestly, I adhere to all of it to the best of my ability. Like I would like to be a better mother, a better homemaker, but there's nothing that I say, nope, that's not convenient. I am going to ignore that part, except one thing. God's just gonna have to deal with me about this. Like I don't think it'll ever come up, but I don't understand how I would be wrong to divorce a man who was, say, I don't know, like molesting our kids or and honestly, I've told God this. I don't know if I could handle being cheated on. I don't know if I could. I might get violent, and somebody might die if because I really love my husband, and I'm not sure that I would ever be able to handle that. Because I do love him so much. I'm not pragmatic. I've never been hypergamous. I never like dated up. I always was a hopeless romantic. And sometimes those are the type of women that can't handle cheating because they don't care if there's money involved or whatever. It's all about like emotions for them, and they'll just go off the handle if you betray them. That might be me. Now that's something God will have to deal with me about. If that were to ever happen, or any like abuse. I just don't understand. I don't even know if it's true that God really expects women to not divorce a man even if he's like literally molesting their children. But I understand back in the time the Bible was written, though, it wouldn't have been an option. It wouldn't have even, like, she would have probably not been any better off whatsoever had she divorced the man, because men were in a much
I hear
bigger
what
way
you're
back
saying.
then the protectors. It's a new thing for women to even believe it's safe to live alone. It's a very modern, like, Western concept for women to think they can just, I mean, talk girls going on hiking trips like in South America, like they've never been there before, all by themselves. They end up missing, and people are shocked, but it's not safe. Girls are not supposed to be
It's true.
wandering about unaccompanied, and so men were protection, and they still are today. But my point is that I understand why guys would say that, like, oh, you only want to pick and choose what's convenient from the Bible. I think a whole lot of people do that, but for me, it was such a humbling and humiliating experience, realizing for a fact 100% that the Bible was true, that I can honestly say that pride just doesn't factor in when it comes, and convenience doesn't. If it did, I wouldn't be a Christian, because it totally turned my entire worldview and my view of myself upside down. But I do agree, though, that a lot of people just like to use the Bible as a battering ram for their agenda. And that's and there's always something in the Bible that will check that, because God made everything perfectly balanced between man and woman if we take his advice. As for the issue of what marriage is, I believe the Bible says it's a vow before like 2 or 3 witnesses and before God. It's not, this hokey ceremony stuff is sort of a lot of it's a pagan carryover, a lot of what we do for weddings. But polygamy, God winked at it. There's a lot of things God kind of tolerated that he didn't strictly or ever endorse. And a lot of the men, I can't think of one exception even, who practiced polygamy to some degree in the Bible, like men of God. They had really, like, they suffered some horrible catastrophe as a result of it. But God said, but for the hardness of men's hearts, that's the only reason he permitted any type of divorce for uncleanness or fornication, right? Men could divorce their wives for those like 2 particular situations, but God said from the beginning it was not so. His wish was that we would not divorce no matter what. Man or woman, nobody would divorce. And so that's something you got to understand with scripture. And I'm going to let you guys go, but I just
last word, Angel.
Yes. All right. Thanks for having me. I hadn't been to your show before, but I think I caught a replay before. But thanks for having me on. And
we've seen each other around.
Yes. Well, we should talk about the whole default paternal custody thing one day.
Definitely.
You like that idea?
Yes. You did a comment. You said something about it's hard for men to get out of marriage. I did a whole video on the concept of prenups. I do believe that men should have the right to financially abort, and meaning that if a woman says, I'm going to have this baby, even if you don't want to be involved, he has the right to say, well, I wash my hands of parental rights. I do believe in prenups as well. And I do believe in state-sanctioned marriage, because unfortunately, because of feminism, we don't have fathers who are going to put a shotgun to your head after we've made a mess of the situation. And so I'm not saying that the shotgun wedding was a good thing, but what it meant was people were aware there were real world consequences to their actions.
That's what a shotgun wedding was.
We do not have that anymore because feminism. Yeah, it was literally the father and the family of the girl cajoling the man to marry the girl after they found out they'd been sleeping together, especially if she was pregnant. So as a result, because we don't have that culture, which was not ideal, we have state-sanctioned marriage that will be the daddy that will beat you, okay? And I'm not saying I'm in favor of it, but I do believe that we need a clear delineation between girlfriend and boyfriend and husband and wife. And at the moment, the only thing we have is state-sanctioned marriage. Do you have anything else you want to add, Angel? Because I'm going to go to Grogu because I know she's got to go.
I'll just say real quick for the guys listening, I support pretty much presumptive default paternal custody. And that would be a really cool conversation to have one day with Lady A, because I think that would solve a whole lot of the problems we see right now if the men were presumed to get the child instead of the woman, which is totally backwards. So I'll let you guys go. You guys have a good day.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming up. I'm going to go to Celine next because I know she's got to go as well.
Yeah, I got to leave in like 10 minutes. But, just for, speaking on the whole idea of polygamy or polygyny, I don't really know the difference. I don't know if they're the same thing. But, in the Bible, you see how Abraham, he slept with Hagar. But the only reason that he slept with Hagar was because Sarah wasn't old. She was too old to have a child. And Sarah said, go sleep with Hagar to have my child. But it wasn't what God wanted. What God wanted, like they had to wait a long time to have a child. And that's what God wanted. He didn't want Abraham to go to anybody else. That was a sin. Because, marriage is only supposed to be between one man and one woman. And to say that everybody has a sin nature, but it's not what God wants for men to sleep with this person, that person, that person, that person. Because really, a lot of times people will look at women, which is true, but, you almost think that you won't just be satisfied with one person. And the problem with all this fornication is that you're never satisfied. You hear it so much, and statistically, the couples that have the best sex are married, and they go to church or any kind of religious service. I think it's like on Pew Research or something. But, you're almost told that, oh, well, you will know if, you got a piss drive, all this stupid rhetoric. And we just got, I really think, and I remember I've been jaded before, like in high school, even though I never acted on it, you get jaded because you think it really bastardizes what sex is supposed to be. A beautiful coming together of two people. It's not supposed to be just it is for pleasure, don't get me wrong, but it's supposed to be righteous pleasure that satisfies your wife or your husband. It's not this thing where you just, I'm just gonna get what I want, and
selfish thing.
Right. It's fornication is wicked because it's selfish and it takes instead of gives, which in marriage you give. You know what I mean? And it's this kind thing, and it's not this thing, where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna,
30 seconds, Celine.
What? I'm sorry?
No, I was going to say, I'm going to give you 30 seconds and I want to go to CJ.
Okay. Well, these conversations are needed because, I've gotten over it and I've finally gotten my head together again, really talking to God about these things. And you have to, as a believer, I know I have to stay in the Word because I know I don't want the voice of the world to overtake what God is saying.
10 seconds.
All right, I gotta go.
For
but
real. I want to shout out Kokamasi.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for coming up. Thank you.
Of course.
Oops. I didn't drop it off. I think the connection went. Shout out to Kokamasi in the building, Shakanulu and Sir Obajo. Thank you so much for sharing the stream. And before I go to CJ, I just want to read this. Based on what Angel said, she said, I wouldn't want to be with a man who was molesting my kids. The scripture specifically tells a husband to love his wife. The scripture says, 1 Corinthians 13, the definition of love. Love is a verb. Love is a doing word. Who remembers that song? Taking it back, showing my age. It says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, it does not boast, it's not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. Love does not fail, and where there is prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled, and where there is knowledge, it will pass away. Okay, so love is action. Love is not a feeling. So, of course, if you have a husband who is dangerous, that's why we've got to vet long courtships and short engagements. I'm going to hand it over to CJ. What have you got?
Well, like I said, and shout out to the panel. Thank you for having me on. like I said, men, you just have to be careful and vet properly. And again, I know that a lot of people want to use the Bible when it's convenient, and but a lot of modern women have a problem with the word submission. A lot of modern women have a problem with the man being the head of the household, being the head of his wife. You say that to a lot of women, they'll be like, no, no, he's my partner. He's my partner. So I just think you have to vet properly, man. And like I said, in my opinion, you shouldn't be in any serious relationship until you're 30 and somewhat established. I believe in giving yourself the best odds. And I know you can't plan for everything, but I'm an odds person. Give yourself the best odds, and usually it goes in your favor. So that's what I have to say. Thank you, Lady A. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna start doing a 10-second count for people on my panel too.
I got that from Mr. Research. He's really good with it. He's just like, I'll give you 30 seconds. And I'm like, going. I'm looking at the time like, is my 30 seconds up yet?
Yeah, I'm about to start doing that. 30 seconds, y'all.
Wrap it up. So who else have we got? It Lady A, that's why God made 304s. Keep those wives focused. Well, bro, you gotta be the best 304 for your husband. Oh my gosh, I haven't got a problem with April Mason's stripper pole. Just get married first and 12, honey, 12. Okay, I've got no problem. I did a whole video called "Be the Best Hoe You Can for Your Husband." That's where you get to express that side of your nature. African Caribbean Talk. I want to hit up the UK at least 2 years from now. Kumasi coming to the Americans are coming. Unbelievably lucky to like each other so much as usual. How it has been first time here. That's Angel. Bring your Tim's and Goose jacket. What? Yeah, you'll need it. Shout out to Uncle Stu. That is his chat. Please, somebody put S Lynch Negress and Soul Black channel in the chat. Shout out to you. I really appreciate you coming through. That's it. Hit up Little Big Nate. You know, he's talking that conservative stuff. He's talking that standard stuff. He's talking about traditional stuff. And, you know, YouTube does not like it. So make sure you go over, subscribe. Make sure the notifications are set to all because, you know, YouTube is janky. We love you. Thank you for the free platform. You know, sometimes you're a little bit messy YouTube stuff. Okay. Shout out to Kumasi. I'm African. We rock sandals. Oh, God. Weaving and sandling. I didn't drop CJ off. I really appreciate him coming up on the panel. Angel says, I trust my husband so much, I actually just get kind of ranty imagining him looking at another chick. Oh my goodness, please don't hurt another woman. He wasn't looking. I still remember the whole trafficking thing. That was April Mason. Shout out to you, Grogu. Thank you so much. I can't stand my voice, but if you like it, I love it. Shout out to Bronzebird in the building. He has a live stream coming up. Women in the Manosphere Are Women Becoming Red Pill? So if you are here, Bronzebird, please throw the link in the chat, either to your channel or to that live stream so we can set our reminders. I think it's on tonight or maybe tomorrow. I couldn't hear you over her accent, making her sound like a genius. You know, this is that articulate babble, darling, with the English voice. Then Cream, oh God, why are you guys talking about people's heels out here? God damn it! Hope you're still on in an hour. I'm coming out. Shout out to George, Ace moderator in the house. Thank you so much. Where are we? You guys, if your man is watching Liverpool on the telly, get him some beer and have some grub ready. Oh my God, that's my dream. If we had a big enough house, turn that basement into a boys' den. You got the massive TV or the projector, pool table. You know, you got that thing that you punch and it tells you how hard you punch. Like, oh, I think that's just for me. Anyway, never mind. Lingerie is a huge asset for your marriage. Makes things fun. There is no time at all. You shouldn't have something sweet and sexy in your top drawer, ladies. Come on. Is there anyone here under 18? You guys not supposed to be here. This is adult conversation for married people. Okay, go to Walmart, go to Asda. Here we have Asda. You can pick up some nice lingerie that will last one night because it's cheap as hell, so you know it's not going to get much life out of it, but it looks good for that one night. Look, I'm giving you guys too much game. I'm giving away my secrets. God damn it. MC Angel is a master of ceremonies or speaker. Lady A, aka the antisocial socialite, is a pretty good orator. So I'm a pretty good, but you, Angel, are a master. I'm blocking both of you. God damn it. Shout out to Jug Season in the house. I really appreciate you for coming through. Give men space. Yes, give them some space. Who else have we got here? Again, there are links in the chat. Please make sure while you're listening, you hop over, you give these channels your support. Most women in America are desensitized and they're only materialistic and have no interest in real men. And these are part of the 99.9% that you need to ignore. Shout out to Celine. I always put others' feelings before mine and consider how they will receive what I'm saying. That is a good trait to have. Being emotional, does that mean exactly? I suppose it means like being open emotionally. It means, being in touch with your feelings, not being cold. Shout out to CJ. Thank you so much for coming up. It just means, I can't go into it now, but maybe we can do a part 2 where we talk about breaking down each of these individual traits. Dark femininity sounds like toxic masculinity, not real. It's either or it is or it isn't. And this is the thing, when we're talking about femininity, either you are or you're not. To some degree, you're going to be have higher traits than others. But generally, either you're feminine or you're not. It's not something you can turn on or dial off or dial up or dial down. It's either when you're in a situation, you assert yourself more or you don't. But that's another conversation for another day. They have no interest in building anything, and you have to know who you are so that you do not get into situations with these women. Spanky also, I'm gonna put other ones where I post the controversial content. Ooh. Did we jump up? Where are we? I'm not emotional. If you guys have not hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you set the notifications to all. Everybody who you see in the chat, their links are there. Please go and subscribe. I'm not emotional as in a crybaby dainty. I'm leading with feelings, and it's not a good trait. Yeah, not being a crybaby is a good trait, but being in touch with your feelings, there's nothing wrong with that. We're women. Women are naturally more emotional. We're more expressive. We talk about how we're feeling and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what most women are saying these days. I'm not sure who that comment was for. I don't know. It should make you sick to your stomach to be mad at each other. We have never lasted more than 30 minutes like that before rushing to make up because it feels so awful. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, for the most part, you agree on a lot with them you're going to find that you're not going to argue that much. Relationships don't have to be chaotic and turbulent to be exciting. Be exciting by doing things together and building that aspect of your relationship. Mr. Uganda says, emotional may mean having the ability to be vulnerable with your partner. A lot of wounded women can't access vulnerability because they're too combative and feel weakness in letting their guard down. And that is true. A lot of people, they feel like being, and this goes back to videos I did a long time ago called, it's actually now called Parenting Style. Parenting Style and how it affects attachment style. Are Black women raised to be scared of the concept of submission? And sometimes it's because we grow up in very hard and hostile environments. We don't believe that the people who say they care about us are actually going to be there for us, and that translates into our adult life. It says, that's your love language, acts of service. And I do believe, I was going to do a video on this, I do believe the only real love language men for the most part have is words of affirmation. Because for the most part, men don't necessarily want the hugging and the kissing and the teddies. Okay, they want respect. Yeah, I'd rather put all that wedding money on a vacation. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Makes sense. They have so much bottled up. The fear of being vulnerable. You don't want all this 5 kids and 7 cats. Pasty skin. Oh my God. She said about the skin. I didn't say anything about the skin. Yeah, the explosion. does a lot of damage. People need to convey how they feel without allowing the wrath to scream out. And again, if you've got these issues, there's no shame in getting professional help to address them. Right, so we're getting close to the end. That's the whole idea of having a spouse. They're the top confidant. Okay. There is life after. Oops, that's the wrong. I don't know why I'm cutting my. So I think society has desensitized people. Things that were once profound and sacred are now cheap and easily overlooked, and that's all by design. Okay, that is not an accident. That is something that has been orchestrated for a very long time. It's all part of the new age agenda to make, basically evil the norm. Valuing yourself and your body before marriage is taboo. I know. It's a way to reverse society. Alice Bailey, she has a publication. Well, she had a publication known as the Lucifer magazine. She had a trust called the Lucifer Trust, which is now the Lucis Trust, which is housed in the UN. She was an occultist. She was somebody who inspired, I believe, Aleister Crowley, and apparently she put forth a 10-step program for the New World Order, which was take prayer and God out of school and education, reduce parental authority over children, destroy the traditional Christian family structure. If sex is free, make abortion legal and easy, make divorce easy and legal, free people from the concept of marriage for life, make homosexuality and alternative lifestyles the norm, debase the arts and sorry, that's a Freudian slip, and make it run rampant. Use media to promote and change people's mindset, create an interfaith movement, which is coexist, or the ecumenical movement where all the religions come together as one, and get the government to make all these laws legal and the church to endorse it. So this is a 10-step plan that has been in the making for a long time. This is not an accident. This is by design. Okay. But the dude should be going out and about like crazy. Too much of the danger of pregnancy. Women should bring more than her body to relationship. And that's why we are going to just get to the end of these comments. I see everybody. Shout out to Beyonce's eyebrows in the building. There's nothing wrong with saying she wants to make that man a man that makes 100K plus. No, definitely not. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand that the men who make that kind of money, they want something in return. They need a companion. They need a confidant. They need a person who's going to be a good team player. So we are going to quickly have a look at this, and then we are going to get up out of here. I did have a page that was open, and it was quite interesting. Okay, so I've not read this, so if it says something garbage, you still have to blame me because I picked it. But okay, whatever. Okay, so it says the role of a wife. I'm sorry, I cannot make this more central, which is bringing me up. Marriage transforms the life of a woman from a pampered, carefree girl. She evolves into a responsible wife ready to take on the duties of a woman. Let's see what those duties are. There's an error. Love him unconditionally. Okay, in a marriage, a man wants to be liked, loved, and appreciated, just like a woman does. As a wife, give unconditional love to your husband, physically and emotionally. Appreciate him generously and nurture him as your child. Nurture him as in build him up, give him confidence, let him know that you believe in him and things like that, not pamper him and change his adult nappy. Okay, obviously some men need an adult nappy. Okay, look, never mind. But what do you get in return? His unconditional love. Help him. Who said men don't need help? All of us need help and support. Become your husband's helping hand during tough times. Whenever he seeks your help, be proactive in supporting him. He will do the same when you require assistance. And this is why I read the scripture about love, 1 Corinthians 7, because we have to understand what the true definition of love is. Love is not an airy-fairy feeling in our stomach. It's action, okay? So keep his honor and dignity. Don't talk about him negatively. Don't talk negatively about your husband to your family, friends, or relatives. Don't fight with him or criticize him in front of others. There's a scripture that says, honor your own husband. So don't come home talking about, and you know, Sharonda's husband would never say this. And you know, Bobby Jane's husband would never do that. Why can't you be more like Sharon's husband? Don't do that, because you're going to cause strife, but you're also going to make that man resent you. It's a form of disrespect. I don't know why the screen has gone blank. Okay. And again, we're not talking about he's beating you and you need to escape because he's physically abusing you or the children. We're talking about, you know, he left the cup in the sink and you get tired of telling him, can you wash the cup up? Okay. There's ways to twist it around so that you can say, okay, he left the cup because he knows I wash the cup better or whatever. And there's ways to communicate. I'm not going to go into that now. That's not my realm because I'm not a professional. But there's a way to handle a husband with dignity and respect. And talking about him, taking a business to social media, gossiping about him, all those things denote disrespect. Excessively criticizing him is going to demotivate him. Don't indulge in gossiping about your husband. If you have any issues, sort it out between the two of you. Support him. A wife should stand by her husband and work together with him as a team, whether it's daily routines or achieving long-term goals. You need to support your husband in all his ventures and endeavors. He will be glad to have you behind his side at every step. The caveat is here. Before you get into entangling your life with this man, make sure you know the man's going somewhere. I understand people say, oh, I can submit to a man worthy of submitting to. Well, you should know that before you say, I do. Don't get into the situation and say, I didn't know you was like this. So there's a caveat, and that is make sure the man is going somewhere before you hit your wagon, okay? If you can't get on board with his long-term goals, then you need to rethink whether this is the person you really want to enter into the legally binding contract known as marriage. Be available. A wife needs her husband's company, and a husband needs his wife. Excuse me. Be there for him when he wants to talk to you. Listen to him and advise him if required, and take care of his needs. It shows that you love and care for him. Okay, you're having sit-down dinner, put the phone away. I'm a big proponent of, after God, if you are religious, your spouse comes first, before your children. Yes, before your children, because one day those children will leave, and you need to know the relationship between you and your spouse has been maintained. So he needs to have, you know, somebody he can vent to and get his emotional needs met. As we talked about at the beginning, 1 Corinthians 7, you know, apart from periods where you're fasting, you know, if however long your period of fasting is, you shouldn't be engaging in sexual activity. But as soon as your fasting has come to an end, you and your husband should come together quickly so that neither of you are tempted. But when we're talking about depriving your husband, it could be depriving him of you emotionally, your physical presence. Are you working too much? Are you devoting too much time to the children and neglecting him? These are also opportunities for him to feel neglected and seek that kind of companionship elsewhere. Am I saying it's right? No, but there's an opportunity for him to be tempted because what he needs at home, he's not getting it. Okay. Respect him. Respect is mutual, of course. Value his opinions and respect him for what he is. If you disagree with him, do not disrespect him, but put across your point softly. And when you give respect, you will also earn it. Fulfill his needs. Cook for him. Take care of him when he's unwell, or uplift his mood when he is stressed out, just like he likes to fulfill your needs or needs to fulfill your needs. Be faithful. Once married, you have to remain loyal and committed to your husband no matter what. Do not give him scope to question your faithfulness and expect the same. Okay? Seek his opinion. When you seek your husband's opinion, it does not make you any lesser. In fact, it shows you value and respect him. You value his opinion and respect him. Okay? Respect your in-laws. Irrespective of the difference in culture or lifestyle, respect them as they are your husband's parents. You would want your husband to respect your parents, wouldn't you? Take care of the household duties. Keep the house in order, tidy, clean. Seek help from your husband and children. Allot them some duties to do every day. This way, each person feels responsible towards their role of the family. And if you are not a domestic goddess, just pay someone, especially if you're a stay-at-home wife. No one cares. He wants to find that shirt is ironed and there's food on the table and the place is tidy. If it means you've got to outsource it to a friend, a relative, or a cleaner, do it. It's better that you have a clean house and you have free time and energy to devote to your spouse than he comes home to a dirty house and you guys are fighting. And some people are just not domestic. It just is what it is. If you don't like cleaning, you don't like cooking, outsource it. All he wants to know is it's done. Okay, it's done. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Polygyny is cheating, says Mr. Uganda. I don't necessarily support polygyny where one man has multiple wives, but if you do have more than one wife, it should be in order. That's what I believe. And at the age of 16, who cares what a 16-year-old does? I'm not sure. She probably only good for one thing. Shout out to S. Lynch in the house. I think those who ask should be ready to receive. Many of the women asking for a man who makes more than 100,000, emotionally balanced, etc., are the same ones that destroy their blessing. Exactly. You've got to be in the position. That's why I did the video about this woman who said, I have nothing to offer. She has something to offer, but she just needs to do a little bit of work on herself. Man, back what I miss. Salute. You know, you can catch it on the restream, sweetie. Controlling is not good. Definitely. Death by 1,000 concessions, making your partner give up everything that they have or who they are, that's going to cause a root of bitterness. And this is why that chick on the side or that guy on the side, he's getting something that you're not, because he lets your spouse be, or she lets the spouse be themselves. So you've got to let your spouse have time to recharge their batteries and maintain the things that created the identity that helped you fall in love with them. I believe the Bible, and I do believe that if he cheats or he hurts children, you should be able to leave. Definitely. I don't understand the vengeful women who have to have the last word. Don't risk your freedom for a cheat. Exactly. All this, you know, if you can't make it work with peace, then just move on and find somebody else. I don't get it either when the spouse talks about that they may get violent or whatever. I was just like shaking my head like, what the hell? True, when you marry, you're making a promise to God. People have to learn how to walk away from people and places who they no longer need in their life. Again, that scarcity mindset, I feel like it's kind of media fueled, definitely. When you see the wife start tearing up things, punching the man up or throwing stuff out, it says it's okay to do these things. And people think that that's an expression of love and real commitment. Oh, look, I'm getting emotional, but sometimes it's control. You guys got the shotgun marriage term in the UK too. Yeah, we do, but it's not really. I have seen it and it doesn't work. You know, somebody will bounce just before the wedding. Ask me how I know. It's sad. I need to check on the person actually after this. Television and YouTube has made it more acceptable for women to be emotionally unstable in those circumstances. That level of misconduct is disgusting. But we also have men who have been raised that that's normal, that's okay, that's just a woman being a woman. And these women can be super dangerous. People have to know how to keep their hands to themselves, definitely. Yes, Sarah was patient. The only time I'd condone a backlash if he was violent. That's my threshold. He puts hands on me, it's on like Donkey Kong. you have your own mindset about it. Yeah. ACDC said, under those circumstances, it's fair game. Oh my God, it's fisticuffs. Fact can confirm. That's back in the conversation. Shout out to bringing clarity to confusion. One of the day ones in the house. Fantasyland is not what God is. Most definitely. Everyone can say what God wants, but God is in all of us. Yeah, God's breath is in all of us, but not all of us are born again. Yo, I was struggling because I don't want to cut people off while they're in the middle of the. You guys are a mess. You guys are a mess. Some people speak for 40 minutes on the panel. That's the thing. And I don't really like cutting people off because I know they're getting into a flow. They've got a lot they want to say. But it's just because I can see the panel's full. If it's one-on-one, it's a bit different. But once we've got a lot of people waiting, I understand other people also have to leave to go other things, to go and do other things. So I really just want to give everybody their time. Men look at other women all the time. Just be secure in yourself. It's natural we're not blind. We don't get married and then we suddenly go blind. Okay. So, but are you acting on it, and are you creating an environment where something going down is more likely to happen? You want to minimize that. I'm so glad I asked my granny a lot about her marriage and remembered her lessons. Traditions keeps marriage together because inherently tradition is in line with nature. I thought you Brits say randy. Yeah, we do, but it means horny. Randy means sexually excited. Shout out to Stoic One in the building. If she's like Sinji, her ankles are hella ashy. Of course, the whole it's dust everywhere. It's a dust storm. She jumps in the ocean gets dry. Stop. Stoic One, Uganda. I'm seeing you everywhere. Yo, leave Stoic alone. You know, Stoic been day one over here. You get me? Stoics, everybody's giving you the salute in the chat. Where are we? Oh my gosh, my girl in the building will be privileged, flying free. Again, if somebody could put her a link in the chat, please do. I want a 1950s Coke vending machine in my man cave. Why not? That's what you want. Get it, sir. Gambling men is a no. Those betting shops cause too much strain. Most definitely. Where are we? Where are we? We are down at the bottom. Chaotic relationships. People think that is cute, that beautiful toxic drama. No, that's what's going to get you killed or locked up. I don't think girls are being raised to be future wives, and that's a big problem. Definitely. Men feel ripped off these days in part because their wives may stay at home but act like they don't want kids until damn near 40. And if they do, they send them off to school all day but still stay home. And again, if you have a stay-at-home wife who doesn't, that's what she does, and she's doing the stuff that makes the house happen, I haven't got a problem with that. Not that it makes a difference because I don't have a wife, but at the end of the day, what's the point to have a wife if she's not adding value to your life? Okay. A woman's strength would be resisting and rejecting the sisterhood of failure. Most definitely. I knew you'd say something like that. I don't know who you're talking to, but I think the thing that keeps a marriage exciting years and years in is not conflict but mutual respect. Respect that keeps you on your toes, trying to continue earn the other's affection and attention. Most definitely, you want your spouse to be your best friend. I really do believe that. Okay. Sickness by fire. What's the deal? Show on Retro Women tonight, hopefully. If you have the link, please, if you're still here, Bronzeberg, please put the link in the chat. If not, I'll have to share it in the community tab. Please check out the community tab so that you guys can stay abreast. Did she just say breast? I did. Jug seasons, everybody is coming through, just chatting in the chat. When I said all these things, I got called toxic, crazy. Hey, I gave her back to the streets. Yeah, she's part of the 99.9, let her go. Even behind their back, you should be able to fix your mouth to talk ish about the person. Passive aggression kills more marriages than anything else. I think Kim from Wifey for Lifey, again, you'll find a couple of her videos in my community tab. She actually talked about being passive aggressive and this slick talking all the time and how it really erodes the trust in a marriage. Okay, so go and check that video out, or check out her channel. Jug Season, The Street Beckons, send her back to those streets. Okay, I look at the women my husband's friends deal. I look at the women my husband's friends deal with, and it horrifies me. Truly incredible. Decent men and these women who aren't even attractive think nothing of gutting their life suddenly. Prenup. Watertight prenup, postnup. Okay. Many people don't understand the basic of respect at all. It is one of the building blocks of a healthy relationship. And it took me a long time to understand this statement. Until you love yourself, you can't love somebody else. I used to think that sounds corny, cliche, doesn't really make any sense. But what it's ultimately saying is this: if you don't value and respect yourself, you're going to tolerate a lot of rubbish. You're going to entertain things you shouldn't because you don't respect yourself, you don't have healthy boundaries, you don't have healthy expectations, and therefore you tolerate things you should not. So once you understand yourself, you have that self-awareness, you're working on your issues, you're setting appropriate boundaries, you are now in a better position to remove and reject things from your life. Okay, so people need to respect themselves, and once they respect themselves, it makes it much easier to filter out the trash. These women will clean and hire a maid. Yeah, I mean, if you got to get a maid, do it. Not everybody wants to be pushing a vacuum cleaner all day. Let's just keep it a buck. Shout out to Naima Butner in the house, the original moderator of the year. Okay. Mr. Uganda had to get a thesaurus and discover the word integrity when I met Joel, because I didn't know the word for this special quality he had, integrity law. Not even joking, I actually did that. Trust me, we use so many words out of context these days. We have no clues. You got to get to 1,000 subs so you can monetize your channel. Which direction are you going in? I might monetize the channel, because if people are talking about black male babies and they can get money for that, I think I should be able to get 2 shillings for saying something remotely constructive, right? Right? Okay. Shout out to Big O1 in the building. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you in the chat. He says, I'm here, ladies. I think we've got a contender in the house for a high quality, high value man. So you want to hop over there and see what he's got cooking. It's nice how you cherish your marriage, husband, and your life. Many people take the good they have in their lives for granted. Unfortunately, that's so true. To be honest, if I cheated on my husband, I would hope he'd hit me. You feel so bad. You're like, please hit me, please hit me. You just want someone to make you feel better. Okay. If Lady A ever appears on the channels where I'm modded, I will promote her channel heavily. Thank you so much. Mr. Uganda, I share it because I feel like if I didn't, some people might not think no one is in love with the person they're married to. The TV made marriage seem like torture. Most definitely, again, it's by design. That's why I hate a lot of these dating shows. They are super goofy. Make marriage seem like a slave labor across the board. Most definitely. Where are we? Oh my gosh, Haroon is in the building. Shout out to you. Loving that avatar. I don't know which anime that is from, but I'm loving the anime character. Good to see you. Shout out to Joe Blogs. 50% of marriages end in divorce. It's a 50-50 proposition, but when you have that watertight prenup, you're letting that person know right out the gate. You get nothing. I believe that sex is a benefit exclusive for marriage, and this is kind of bringing the conversation full circle. That there are certain things that you shouldn't be doing. If you have Thanksgiving, this is an opportunity for you to showcase your hosting skills, your nurturing skills, how well you can cook. It's not so much about what are you doing for a partner, it's the consistency and the level, which is the whole point. I wish I said this at the beginning, which is the whole point of the video. If you are living with a man like husband and wife, cooking and cleaning for him every day, but he has not committed to you, he's getting milk for free. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to do, but I say to people like money, give what you can afford to never get back. If you know you just like cooking, or you just want to take that brother on a date, or you just put a load of washing in his machine or something, and he doesn't commit to you afterward, especially if you guys are not sexually active, just wash your hands and call it a loss. Okay, I did something nice for you. You didn't appreciate it. I'm out. Okay. But unfortunately, a lot of people are getting overly invested, and they're consistently doing acts like the things that we're talking about when they haven't got the level of commitment. Now, these things we're talking about, treating him with respect, being his cheerleader, some of those things really only apply to a husband. There's a limit to how much you can get behind a man's venture when you are not legally, connected to him. If he says, I want to start a business, can you take out a $10,000 loan, and that's not your husband? I'll let you guys end that sentence because I don't want to call anybody any names, okay? But there's an issue there. There's an issue because there's no guarantee that there's going to be a return on your investment. And if he bounces, you're still left having to pay that 10 grand back. So there's certain levels you should not cross. Yeah, exactly. It's sad because because the few people happy marriages I do know, they are happy beyond all comprehension. Where are we? We are nearly at the end. For sure, get them coins. You guys are funny. Yeah, why not? If people are out here spreading all kind of madness and getting paid for it, I should be able to get two shillings. I just dropped a couple of shillings in Sheba. Lol. Okay, so let's go back to the last couple of points. Where are we? Be responsible. Being a responsible wife is a blessing to the family because she knows what to do and how to do it. Be responsible in running the household, managing your finances, and taking care of your children. Be patient. Patience doesn't come easily. When you are multitasking every day with your responsibilities at home and things don't go as you plan, the last thing you think about is patience. But try having it and you will not regret it. Imagine you are in a hurry to rush to work. Your husband asks you something silly and you blast him. But later in the day, you realize that he was only trying to be playful with you. Had you been more patient in the morning, the day would have been better for both of you and your husband. Where are we? Educate your children. Parenting is a responsibility of both mother and father, but a mother plays a significant role in educating her children as she understands them inside out and has patience. And it's just, the woman is often with the child more, so she's going to understand them more, but whereas the father is often going to be at work. So it's, she's the first teacher and she spends a lot of time with the child, probably more than the dad will. But after a certain age, children really need their father, whether it's a son or a daughter. Safeguard your home. You must protect your home from strangers and people who try to inject venomous thoughts in your family members. In thoughts in your family members. You should also keep away yourself from individuals who have a lot of negativity in them. And that's just in general. And take care of yourself. No, this is not the last thing. In fact, you should focus on yourself before you take care of others, because your family can be happy and healthy only if you are happy and healthy. Don't burden yourself with responsibilities. Seek help from others in the family. Take a break and relax. This will keep you smiling, and a smiling wife will be the most pleasing thing your husband will see. So I will link this in the description box down below so you guys can check it out later. But that's really all I wanted to say. We need a strategy. Oh my gosh, we have Classic Ruby in the house. Thank you so much for coming through. She said she's a new subscriber, so I really appreciate you for hitting that subscribe button. Where is my little thingy for you? If you are a new subscriber, just let everybody know. Okay, thank you so much for coming through. Shout out to Day and C. You finally caught alive. Oh my gosh. Oh, where are we here? Afropolitan Podcast. She said, "Hey, Stoic, I see you in." My God, stop exposing the man. Stop exposing the man. Where are we? Hey, it's been a while since I caught you live. Elbow cough. I don't know. Is that the cough I've got? An elbow cough. Shout out to you. I love being celebrated. Oh my gosh, she says she loves being celebrated. Why not? So let's go around. So as I said, you guys. Oh. Did it play? No. Oh. So remember guys. Okay, remember, we need more subscribers. More? Yes, more. So we are chugging along nicely towards 1,000 subscribers. So if you are here, you have not yet subscribed. He said, my husband just laughed. If Whitney says it, it's got to be true. It's got to be true. Would you ever debate Cynthia G if someone paid you? I would have to do a lot of research because she comes across like she knows what she's talking about, and I would need the accurate statistics so that I could actually, talk from a point of actually knowing what I'm saying. It's one thing to have an opinion. It's a different thing to to actually to have the facts and the statistics, because she can bring statistics, but we know they can be warped to make them say what you want. So I'd need to know the facts before I got into a situation with her. Every time I put in the DAB emoji, it keeps saying elbow cough. Oh my goodness. Podcast working, my job have me missing lives. It is what it is. You got to get that paper, honey. You got to get that paper. I can't help you. Okay. I can't help you. So you got to help yourself. Classic Ruby says the real woman's fear is a real thing. Yes, my dear, the real woman's fear is not all this man bashing and hating and pseudo intellectualism. The real woman's fear is women coming together, trying to be better versions of themselves. As we know, starting at the top left-hand side, we've got Ro, the lovely Chantel Simone, obviously Shay Sade, the wonderful Afropolitan podcast. She's here in the chat. Then if we go along the bottom, we have Marriage and Motherhood. No, we have it's a homemaker channel. I'm really sorry. Oh my God, it will come back to me in a minute. Obviously, to the right of her is I Am Courtney Michelle, the lovely Kim from Wifey for Lifey, and then obviously a veteran in the game, Miss Kendra G. I know we've cropped off a little bit of her head right there, but we have the beautiful Roxy Beckles. Beside her at the bottom again is obviously Danica Marie, and obviously my lovely friend, Real Talk Therapy and Reactions, and one half of the second dynamic duo in this space, which is the Nurse of the Nurse and Nerd. Above the Nurse and Nerd, obviously we have the lovely Sister George, who is causing a bit of ruckus in this space. I know you're listening. Beside her to the left is Six the Goddess. This is the lady from Marriage and Motherhood. She has a great channel, Keto, talking about, life hacks, how to do your housework and keep it, all the way 100. And beside her to the left, we have my second spirit animal. Under Kim is obviously the American version of myself, the lovely, the deep and profound, oh my God, what's her name? Somebody help me. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot her name, but that's my spirit animal. Help me. Help me. We consider her to be a strag. Who? I hope it's not what's her name next to Marriage to Motherhood. Oh my gosh, I know I promote her a lot. I need to find out what her name is now. Above that is obviously Avery Woodley in the top left, and the true veteran of the game, Sarah Lena, who's been doing this for the longest while. Obviously, the other half of the dynamic duo, Concrete Rose, and the infamous Jessica X in the top right corner. What's her? Oh my God, help me out with this lady next to the E of Woman's Fear. I can't believe I forgot her name. Help me. She goes in deep. Love Dorsey. If I was American, I'd be Love Dorsey, because I'm just looking at you guys looking at her. Okay, I'm looking at you guys looking at me. Okay, so these are the real women who are giving you information that's going to help you move your life forward. Shout out. Oh, so YouTube has suggested. I'm really grateful that you came through. Thank you so much. So I haven't said everything I want to say, but the point is we want to make sure that we are taking action, that we have steps, that we have a clear, concise goal that we can work towards. What it means to be a good wife, and are we checking these boxes? Where are we doing well, and where do we need work? I really appreciate everybody who hit the subscribe button, everybody who came through, all the content creators who have come through. I hope that you get loads of subscribers, that you have a good Saturday. We're coming to the end of 2021, so next year is bigger and better. I just really appreciate everybody who shared the channel. I think Sir Obadiah who did. Shout out to CJ Carl. I think he also shared the content. Whew, we see a lot of new people, and I'm really grateful for everybody who came through. So with that being said, share the video with somebody who needs to see it. Give it a big thumbs up or a thumbs down. Obviously, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.